My name is Eileen Fagan, and I'm the sister of Patricia Fagan, who died on 9/11. She worked on the 98th floor, and she often would call me working at Bank of New York and say, "What's the weather like? Because I'm only looking at the clouds." But she was a great gal, my best friend, my traveling companion while we commuted, and the two of us just lovingly took care of my father, who was failing at that point in time.
Diane Horning, my son Matthew Horning, who was 26 years old, was killed in the North Tower. He was on the 95th floor. My son was the light of my life. He was funny and smart and respectful, and I just miss him every day.
I truly think it's very important to support the museum because they're trying to put together the lives of thousands of people, of very ordinary people who went to work one day and didn't come home. And hopefully people who didn't know them will get a glimpse into their lives. I feel very sorry for anyone who's opposed to the museum because, it's history.
I have some serious concerns about the way the museum is being structured and used. In order to learn about my son in this museum, you have to go to a kiosk and you have to know enough about him on your own to plug in his name and find out about him. My feeling is that the same should be true of the terrorists, that they should not have a prominent place with their pictures displayed, their names displayed, and given more museum space than the individual victims.
But I really think they're going to try to make it a sacred space for people to come and understand a piece of American history. A few years ago, I did get word that they had identified some more remains of my sister. But this time, I really felt that I wanted those remains to stay with the museum because I wanted Pat to be buried there. She had worked with some of those people for 20, 25 years, and they were truly her best friends because she was there all the time with them.
And we'll have carrots tonight. The museum people seem to feel that the outreach has been significant and complete in finding out whether they wanted these remains to be a programmatic element of the museum. And yet most families I talk to are unaware that this is happening. The issue is, do the majority of the families have anything to say about it? All of the other elements in this museum, we've been told, we're one of many stakeholders. It's not our museum. When it comes to human remains, we are the only stakeholders. Personally, I have elected not to contribute anything to this museum.
I think people will relate to the ordinariness of people going to work that day. I can't believe that they found a pocketbook in 100 and something floors of rubble. The greater good of the museum having it just superseded everything. And I really wanted people to know that simple life that my sister led. The one thing I wanted to get back was my sister's rosary beads. Every single bead is here, every single bead, with all the fire and dirt and everything that was certainly centered around these beads when they were found. Everybody needs a modicum of peace saying they're with God and they're all right and everything's all right with the world. And that's what those rosary beads said. They were just the epitome of her faith.
The general public is looking for a way to learn about the events of September 11 and also to be able to respectfully memorialize the victims. I hope that the museum will give people that opportunity and will give the families a place to memorialize their loved ones and to have the story told properly.
The more people that can come and just reflect for a moment and say a prayer of thanksgiving for their lives. I mean, that's really what's important, that you're remembering a life that was wonderful in its day.
I would never dream of going in front of these people who are going there and protesting in any way or leading a boycott in any way. I think people truly want this to be respectful and well accepted, and so I think it will be.
It's going to be a story that's bigger than just an event happening. It's just all those lives and the history of those lives and what happened and just the courage and the spectacular acts of just valor that day. It was just really, wow. It blows your mind to think of how everybody reacted that day.